Welcome to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast by yours truly, Colleen Wood. Here is where we celebrate success in real estate and share the wisdom and struggles so others can be successful too. If you are a new listener, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders, and I am known for helping realtors make a lot more money in commissions without selling their soul to the industry and maintaining balance with what's most important in life. I am so excited to be talking to Supermom and broker Jennifer Love. Jennifer is a supervising broker with Fox Realty, brokered by EXP. In the last year, you closed 26 transactions for $12.6 million and just achieved icon status with EXP, which is a 25% market share in your local MLS. That's huge.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it too.
That's really amazing. That's really amazing. We were just talking before we hit record that you don't even pay attention to your numbers, that you just focus on your business.
No, pretty much once a year at the end of the year, I look at it. But yes, I focus on everybody I'm working for.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how you balance this tremendous career that you have while being an attentive and loving mama as well. I'm really excited to talk to you about this. So first, tell me, how did you get into real estate? Was it your first career? What drew you to the business?
So from the age of like 16 to 21, I was in banking
Mm.
and slowly working my way up the net. And I took a 17-year hiatus to have kids
Mm.
and homeschool them. And then one day, as I started to go back to work slowly, I thought, hey, this is something I can do from home for a couple hours a week. And it won't get in the way of anything. It'll be easy. So I started and slowly it just grew and grew.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I know you have several kiddos. Can you tell us what their ages are?
Yep. I have 7 children. My youngest is 7. So I have 4 in the house.
Mm.
So 7, 10, 13, 15, who just started driving this week
Oh.
with me in the car, which is hilarious and not as much fun. And then I have a 17 and a 19 who's married and a 21-year-old as of last week.
Wow, that is amazing, amazing. How do you balance this career that you have with so much to do for such a big family?
You know, Colleen, that is a fantastic question. Absolutely 100% with lots of systems.
Oh,
So, systems at home, systems for dinner, systems for waking up, systems for work. And you just get into a group and you just walk it.
that's amazing. Can you elaborate a little bit on what a system like that, like even one of those systems or two of those systems, what do they look like?
Yeah. So, absolutely, I've failed multiple times in creating the systems. But once you have one that works, you just hang on to it and move forward. So, um, for instance, like how to keep a house clean with that many kids and working. I tried doing like a service that would come in and do it for me, but I realized so much of it is each individual's responsibility.
Mm.
And the services didn't do those things. They did an underlying, cleaning. So working on that with them, everyone has a specific chore right after a meal. And if it doesn't get done, then they get to do 2 chores. And it's just consequences. And so
Mm.
anyway, we do that right away. And then we move on and everybody knows they have to do it. But if you do it at the beginning, it's done. So that's just, one easy thing with dinners. I have learned the hard way. I'm not going to cook perfect anymore. When you stay at home, I did everything homemade, but so you have to drop time somewhere. And
Yes.
so having dinners that are easy or pre-made, that's the system I do now. I don't spend all day cooking anymore.
I don't know how
Um,
you could. I don't know how you could. You have so much going on. You are not doing real estate for 2 hours a week. So
no, oh,
I don't know how
absolutely
you
not.
do it. You're such an inspiration. So, how do you manage when your kids see you on the phone? I know my son is always like rolling his eyes and kind of just annoyed and be like, Mom, you don't have to work right now. So, what do they say when you have to be working or on the phone? What does that look like?
They're actually, my kids are super amazing. I don't know if I lucked out or what, but I'll take a lot of phone calls even in the car. They'll all be in the car
Yeah.
and I'll throw it on speaker in the car and they just know to be quiet. I just turn around and say, Mom's on a call, no talking.
Yeah.
And I turn that on and I get it done. But if I'm at home, I go in my office and shut the door and they know not to do that. They don't really give me too much flack about it in the moment. I've taught them, if they do have issues, that they need to pick the appropriate time and come and talk about it. We have a saying, questions and courtesy. And so they can just ask for help nicely.
Mm.
Mom, I feel this. May I have this? And knowing what they want is key. You can't
Yeah.
just complain. You have to ask for the solution.
Wow. Wow, that must have been a foundation that you built, even before you got into real estate, and then you've established that. Because sometimes, like, I even watch some of these other kids who can't even let their parents have a conversation with another adult, let alone be on the phone with someone. So you must have established that early on, and I think that that's really, really important.
Yeah, it is. They're still going to make mistakes though. And if I get a client that, once or twice in the transaction, they hear a child's voice and they're probably just not the right client for me. And I did look through all of my clients from the last year and realized, 98% of them were parents, a
Mm,
couple with children. So I had a couple singles, but most of them were families. And so I think they get it.
yeah. Kind of an out of the blue question. I hear often, especially from women, female realtors, that they are concerned that if they put pictures of them with their family, that a client is going to think that they're not going to be 100% focused on their transaction because they're a busy mother. How do you feel about that? How would you respond to that?
I have literally said that. I've had, a couple marketing companies tell me that I should market that. And I said the same exact thing. I said, no, they're going to think I don't have time for them. I don't know. I don't tend to tell people right away that I have lots of kids. And some people never know that I do have kids. I do tend to keep my personal life out of my work conversations and focus on my clients instead of myself.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I've chosen to kind of not tell people, but I do have one business card made up with me and my children on it. So
Oh,
that if I do run into someone who has, 7 kids, I'm like, hey, here's my card. And it
me
does
too.
connect with them. And I've had people go on a website and find me and pick me because I have lots of children. So I don't advertise it, but I do have it on in certain markets and where you can find out.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. As unfair as I think that that is, there are people that are going to have a perspective and a feeling about that that is just underlying. I know that when we were doing some national television, I was doing some national television with a realtor, and she had clients that said to her, "Oh, you're on TV, you don't have time for me." And so, gosh, like, wow, that is just not the case. But people are just going to have their own opinions. And I agree with you. Some people are really going to really want to work with you because of the kiddos, and other people are going to be like, she must be very busy doing all the soccer things, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that that's really smart. Okay. So, talk to me. Your day must be insane, start to finish. Can you kinda outline for us what a typical day looks like for you, like, from the time that you get up until the time your head hits the pillow again?
Absolutely. So once again, systems, right? I've learned through failure that I don't like doing a lot of meetings on Mondays. So Mondays are a little bit different. They tend to be an office day where I'm in my office setting up my week, making sure that my week's going to go smoothly.
Mm.
But I wake up around 6 and the very first thing I do every day is almost the opposite of what every successful person says. I sit with a cup of coffee and play on my phone. I look at social media. I play games on my phone until my first cup of coffee is gone. That's my time. And I've learned to take care of myself at the very first of the day,
Mhm.
where most people that are super successful are like, I get up and I do my list and I do this. And I'm like, no, I need to just remember that I'm here today and it's about my laughter today.
Mhm.
So I start there with a cup of coffee and about 6:30, 6:45, I go wake up the children and they have the same breakfast every morning. That's super simple, super easy with absolutely minimal cleanup
Yeah.
because that is part of that system that we learned.
Mhm.
And while they're getting ready for school, I spend my hour on the treadmill,
Mhm.
either walking or running.
Mhm.
And, I'll take just a slight branch off that for just a minute. So I get on there for an hour every day, but some days I walk at 2.5 miles per hour and I'm barely moving.
Mm.
Some days I run the whole thing. There's some days I split it. And I never ever get mad at myself because I just know that showing up is what I want to do that day. That's my perfection. I think perfectionists need to really set their standards low. So my perfection is getting on there every day. So that'll get me 5 to 10,000 steps in every day. And that's a goal for me every day. And that's while they're getting ready. They've already been taught how to do their thing. And so when I get done, I come up and check on everybody. Where are you at? We hop in the car, we go to school. Like I said, right now, my 15-year-old's driving us. And so she gets us there. We stop at each section. We've got elementary, middle school, high school. We go down the little line and I wave at everybody I know. And I drive back and I start working on the computer in my office. So I have my home office. Even if you have a branch office, I think you need a home office.
Mm-hmm.
So I come here and I start working. And when I've really got kind of caught up, before I start, I catch up on files. But before I start anything really hardcore, like my next system I'm creating or something I'm going to do in the future or my goals, I'll take a break and I go to the gym. I spend a little over an hour at the gym each day, lifting weights, nothing crazy, no cardio or anything. And then I come back and I'll get things either prepped for the children or I'll do a little bit more work.
Mm-hmm.
I go get them and we come home. And believe it or not, we actually have dinner right when they come home. So it's like 4 o'clock and we eat dinner because that's when I know I can be home. I've already set that time for the scheduling. And this is these systems I'm talking about. I've already set that time out of my day to pick them up from school. So I have to break from work, pick them up. So instead of breaking again in another hour or two after getting home to do dinner, we do it all on that break.
Oh, smart.
And I do actually work quite a bit at night. So after they're all done and, eaten and they start on their homework, I kind of go and finish anything that I need to wrap up. So I do Zoom calls with clients and we do those usually when they're off work. So it's usually about 6 o'clock at night. We hop on Zoom calls and, work on whatever they're needing next.
That is so smart because you're right. I mean, all of our clients, for the most part, unless they have cash, they're working during the day, the same hours that we would normally be working. But you've identified that your working time for them needs to be in the evening. So you've changed your schedule in order to accommodate literally everyone so you can be present for everyone. That's
Absolutely. And
amazing, Jen.
that's why I do my lifting in the afternoon. And I am not as traditional because a lot of people say, you need to sit and focus. And every time your focus gets broken, you're not going to be as productive. But for me, I do have to work it around those schedules. And that's, it's kind of created itself.
Mm-hmm. So what time do you go to the gym to do your lift?
Usually around noon.
Okay. Okay. So you take a break in the day. You've gotten some things taken care of. Any fires are put out in the morning. And then you go and do your lift, get re-energized, come back to the house, do more work, go get the kids, do dinner, and then wrap that up. And then you start working again, doing your Zoom calls, face-to-face things with clients. I'm sure you end up showing property in the evenings as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You just
So
have
if
a
I
little bit
tried,
of everything.
if I tried to lift at night, where most people, they get off work and they go to the gym, like if I tried to do that, it wouldn't work for me.
No, no,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work at all because you have to no, it wouldn't work at all. That's what I always feel like so many moms end up giving up their self-care
Yes.
because they're trying to do it. But that's what's really great about real estate, right? Is we run our own schedule. We can take an hour and a half in the middle of the day to go and do something. And a lot of our work, we don't have to be beautiful for. You can some days you're Zoom ready and some days you're not. And, days you're going to see your clients, obviously you'll get ready for that. But if you're not going to see anybody for the day, you can kind of just be a troll and, and just do what you need to do. I call it a dungeon day where you just get
Yes.
everything done, where you're not going to see a human, but you're going to get a ton of work done. So I don't take any time to put myself together on those days. So that's really smart. That's really inspiring. That's making me think about my schedule.
Yeah.
So listeners out there, like, she's killing it with her scheduling. And so I'm sure that you adhere to your schedule, no adjustments to it. Like you just roll from one thing to the next thing according to your calendar.
Yep. And then the other last point that I really realized a lot of people are like, you don't take days off. And I take time off every day, but I also do take every other Wednesday off. And
Oh,
so that's a time where I'll do my nails and my lashes and, if I have kids' appointments and things like that. So every other Wednesday is also dedicated to myself or my family.
that's really smart. And in the middle of the week like that, because of course you're showing property and talking to clients over the weekend. That is so smart. Okay, so do you have a hard time with all these people that depend on you? Do you have a hard time saying no to work obligations and feel like you're putting your family on the back burner?
I don't have a hard time saying no because I don't say no. I love my job and my job is inconsistent and it is at different times and it is commissions only. So no is not for me, not a luxury that I get.
Mhm.
I have had to say no to a few people, but that's after I try to say yes a few times. I'm always on everyone else's side first. And if they can respect me, they're going to get the world from me.
Mhm.
I've never actually had to tell someone they can't be my client. They usually figure it out pretty quickly on their own that they don't want an agent at that time. So
Sure.
never really had anybody say, wow, you're too busy. You can't be my agent. No one's ever done that. But I
Yeah.
say, if you're not prepared, if you're not serious, maybe I should check back with you in about 6 months
Mhm.
because that time I'm going to spend on them could be spent on two other clients.
Mhm.
And those people usually take extra time anyhow. So whereas a showing for someone who's very serious, who's already been to you, they've already got their pre-approval, they know what they can purchase. We're going to go out and we're only going to look at houses they want to see and they want to buy,
Yeah.
right? And so maybe that's two or three houses. Whereas if I get a buyer who has not come to you yet,
Yes.
hasn't worked with your team and sat down and figured out what they can afford, we're going to look at six houses because they
Mhm.
don't know what they're doing. And
Right.
so that could be a whole other client and a second paycheck for me. And so I'm always quick to push everyone to come to you first and find out if they want to spend time with me. I'm
Absolutely.
happy to spend time with them and be their best friend, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page first.
Right, and your time is so precious with everything that you have going on, so you really don't have a lot of time to be messing around with somebody who's not serious.
No, and if they are serious, absolutely. They come first
Mhm.
before my family in that instance, not as a whole. On a whole foundation, my family is 100% first, but
Mhm.
they're also part of my team and they understand that they're working alongside me just the same. They
Wow.
give me that time, but they know they're going to get it back because the first day that I have free, it's all theirs.
Do you have any mom guilt?
I don't. I am a snuggly mommy. I'm a touchy mommy. Every time we drive to school, we're talking, we're learning. I'm checking in on them, teaching them to ask for what they need. And I think that's actually probably key why there's not guilt is I've taught them to come to me when they need something.
Mm.
And if I can't get to it right away, they know that I'm going to come back. So if they say, Mom, I need to talk to you, I say, oh, that's great. I have 2 meetings lined up and then I'm all yours.
Mhm.
And being present, I think, is key with my clients, with my children, with myself. So I don't have that guilt because I know that they can hear the word no. It's okay. So can my clients. And I do say no if something else is already in front of a client. But if there's not, and if it's just hanging out with the kids, yes, I'm going to go work.
Yes, yes. That is so smart. That is so smart. I feel like even I've learned, and it's kind of a joke in my house, "Hey, put me on your calendar." But it was a joke at first because they know that nothing happens if it's not on my calendar. So, if they want my time, especially if it's in the middle of a workday, if they wanna go to lunch or they wanna go for a walk or something, I say, "Okay, I've got a window here, between 1 and 2. It's all yours if you want it." And I literally put it on my calendar.
And that's the system that works for you. And that's what's great
Mhm.
about systems. And everybody goes, hey, that's the system. If I want mom, I jump in that system.
Yes.
And you create one that works for your family.
Yes.
You said something key too. You said take a walk. A lot of times, if my children want to spend time with me, they come do things with me. And
Mhm.
so they'll come to the gym with me or they'll go on a walk with me or whatever mom's doing, they'll do. Not necessarily work stuff, but a personal thing.
Yeah, same. My son spent a lot of time last year. He was just at that age, he needed to have a lot of conversations, and I would say, "Hey, I'm going for a walk. You're welcome to join
Yep.
me." And it
Yeah.
was funny because after a while, because I do the same thing as you where I'm trying to hit 12,000, 14,000 steps. And, if you start from, like, 0, you got a lot of walking to do. So,
Yes.
he would saddle a horse and he would ride while I walked because he's like, "I'm not walking that far." But, I mean, it
Perfect.
was fun. It's fun, and we get to have conversation, and, it's really meaningful conversation. Of course, when you have your energy up like that too, You're just a lot more intuitive and sensitive and having more genuine conversations with people instead of trying to have them in between, phone calls and stuff. I never feel like I'm fully present when I'm in between things like that. So I really like that kind of time with my family.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that sounds awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So, what would you tell a young person who's wanting to get started in real estate, maybe a young mom that's got some kiddos? What qualities do they need to have and what pitfalls should they avoid?
So what I actually had someone just a couple weeks ago, we went out to lunch and I took, time out of my day to take her out and she was debating getting into real estate. And I'm completely blatantly honest with people that this will consume your world.
Mm,
And if that's okay with you, then that's fine. But everybody in your family needs to be on that same page.
mhm,
What would I tell someone who's starting out in real estate? Besides explaining, that it's time consuming, I would tell them that it's not how you dress and how you show a house. It's really how you run a business.
mm,
Anyone can be a realtor.
mhm,
Not everyone can make it a business.
mhm,
I can do it part time and work another job that pays me. I can, do it on the side as long as my partner's bringing in the income or what have you. But if you're going to do it full time, you're running a business. You're following all of your money. So
mhm,
you've got spreadsheets on which lead generation works. It's a
mhm,
lot of research and compiling and reviewing and testing and learning. It's not, I dressed up and I showed a house today. So yeah, it's
I
more the
love that.
business aspect. Oh,
Yeah. I feel like, and maybe you're seeing this too, and I hope it's not just our market, but I'm seeing so much real estate modeling. Where they are just a beautiful face and they like to do videos and they like to take pictures, but there's very little real estate happening. And I feel like that's really diluting the quality, especially of the female realtor, because then there's those of us who are not motivated by real estate modeling. So then we feel like we should be doing that kind of thing. And it's a horrible waste of your time. Like you're saying, when you're really building a true business, like maybe you dabble in that a little bit and get some help with some of that stuff. But I see that happening so much. Do you agree?
I do 100%. And I fell into that trap as well, where we talked about our systems. Well, there was a good hour or so of getting ready
Mm-hmm.
where I actually created a system for that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a picture of the outfits I like so I can make this go quicker in the morning. But I did fall on the trap because I thought that's what realtors were
Mm-hmm.
pretty faces or handsome faces. And um, one day I saw someone who was killing it. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. And you know why they were killing it is because they were an expert at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They knew I could ask them a question and they knew the answer right away. What's days on market in this area? And they knew those people are actually the ones because I've realized when someone pays me for a service, they want to pay me to know everything they don't know that they wish they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be that person. And I find it so much more attractive when I can serve them the way they want to be served. Like when I just come and like hand them the information right before they're asking it coming out of their mouth, I'm like, ta-da! And so
Wow.
I feel the most attractive in that moment versus how I look
Mm-hmm.
physically.
I felt like there was a few years there where I was doing so much like videoing and picture taking, and then there was so much time that was spent in hair and makeup. And I'm like, this is not doing my job. This is just using this opportunity to then also become like, try to be a model or a TV star or something like that. I'm like, this is not in line with what we need to be doing. So I like that you
Well, I
found
will
that too.
I will tell you, I would say all of my clients have mostly seen me in my workout gear and my hair in a bun and whatever. Like, but they know what they're getting behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they want. They don't care what I look like. They don't care what I do with my day as long as they're being taken care of.
Mhm, mhm. I love that, because you're a real person and you're very, very professional in your mannerisms, but, I think the message out there is, ladies especially, but guys too, stop thinking you have to look like a model. Stop thinking you have to have everything perfect and pouty and, like, totally designed and you have to look like Beverly Hills. You don't to be successful in this. You can just be, I mean, obviously Jennifer's a very beautiful lady, but she's not plastic and overdone. And she's showing real estate in her workout clothes as a real live human. So I
I
love
am
that
a
about
real
you.
really quickly, I have to tell you, when I first started, it was my first year. I was following, I can't remember who it was, but his video was helping people start in real estate. And he literally said, ladies, if you want to be successful in real estate, go put some mascara on. Nobody wants to see you just waking up. And I was like, and that's where we get it. We think that. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think the message that should be taken from that is go get presentable,
Presentable. Yes.
but
Clean.
you absolutely don't have to have
Hmm.
makeup or a certain outfit to be an agent. You have to know your market and you have to know how to run a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me, who is your greatest inspiration? Who do you look up to and why?
So you sent me some of these questions ahead of time so that I could, answer properly. And I got that one and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. I cannot think of one person that inspires me because I really, really don't look around. I am a very focused, one step at a time person. So what I realize is it's not a who, but it's a what.
Mm.
Consistency is my inspiration. I have learned time and time and time again, whatever I am consistent with as an absolute truth, which we have very, very few of in this world, an absolute truth
Mhm.
is that if I am consistent in something, it will be given back to me. If I'm consistent in working out, if I'm consistent in walking, if I'm consistent in eating cake, if I'm consistent in being kind or being mean, I will get that back. And that I love that absolute truth. And that is an inspiration to me is that anytime I want something, I'm 100% positive I can get it as long as I'm consistent.
I love that you said that, and I just got goosebumps about it because that's exactly I struggle with that too because I don't spend any time looking at other people, especially other lenders. Frequently get the question like, "Who's your biggest competition?" I have no idea.
I have no idea.
No idea. I don't know what they're doing. My president of my company asked me, what is it that other people in your market are doing that you want to be doing? And I'm like, I have no idea. I just do the very best that I can do. My inspiration is a lifestyle that I'm looking for. I'm creating a life that I don't need a vacation from. That's a big deal to me. And so I'm the same as you. Wow. I always think I'm the weirdo because I really don't spend a lot of time looking and idolizing other people. So that's amazing. Okay, you made me feel a little bit better about that.
Good, good.
So, Jennifer, tell me, what does success look like for you?
I love this question, Colleen, because this is going to be different for every single person you ever meet. I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, success looks like laughter for me.
Mm.
Whatever I'm doing, even if I'm being a little critical to myself or someone else, if I'm laughing, I am so successful. And you really can't laugh unless you're doing a couple things right. And that's success to me. And I laughed all the way to school with the kids this morning. And let me tell you what we were talking about is how someone didn't clean up after themselves and didn't get their teeth brushed and their system didn't work. And we're laughing. And I am always quick to tell them, I am not attacking you. I am here to help you learn. I'm just pointing this out for you. And I will tell you, it's because they were looking at their phone this morning. And I got onto them and I said, you know what? I do have to tell you something. Mommy was late this morning too because I looked at my phone too long. So I
Mhm,
want you to know I'm not attacking you. I do it too. And we're just learning together. And then we all laugh.
mhm.
And I think that is my success. Laughter on the beach, laughter in my office, laughter with my clients,
Yeah,
wherever.
I love that. Yeah, because you're so right. It's like, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you because I'm totally guilty of this too, and it's
Yes.
so hard sometimes. Darn those
Yes.
dang phones. I start my morning too, and I turn on my phone and I look at my email and I move some things around and delete some garbage, and I look at a couple of people that I follow on Instagram, not real estate people, and lifestyle. Like, I just love the Western lifestyle, and so I look at that stuff, and I find that just the screen wakes me up. Reading is really important to me in the morning, but if I try to go right to reading, I'll just fall right back asleep again. So that screen does wake me up. I do always feel a little bit guilty, like, why are you honoring your phone first thing in the morning? And it's like I'm just trying to wake up. So I love
But
that
I
you're
like.
Yeah, I love that you're honest about that. And success is really going to look different for everyone. It is not perfection, it's finding what it is that works for you. And if a mama with 7 kids can have such an awesome business, just achieved icon status with EXP, which is a huge deal, you guys can do it too with systems and planning and staying consistent. So, Jen, this was
That
awesome.
is.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This was so inspirational to parents that they can have a great real estate career. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. As a reminder, I am the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders. What we are known for are 3 things. Number 1, we close on time. Number 2, we keep our realtors in the sales seat at all times by keeping them updated on their current transactions. And when you entrust us with a lead, we follow up on that lead until they buy, fly, or die. Leads are never lost to our lack of follow up. Our number 1 priority is for you to earn more money in commissions so that you can improve the lives of your family, community, and in turn, our country. So, can I count on you for that next buyer lead? I would love to work with you too. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please just reach out to my office. All right, we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Bye bye.